The latest tech.
I'm Alexa. I can answer your questions.
Interviews.
And we are evolving, and we are seeing an amazing opportunity that is happening.
Accessibility.
Accessibility is one of our core values.
This is Double Tap TV.
Welcome to another edition of Double Tap TV. Thank you guys so much for being here. This week, another amazing show lined up for you guys. We are going to be putting our hearing to the test. If you guys want to get involved, the email address, as always, feedback@ami.ca. Follow us on Twitter @DoubleTapCanada and use that hashtag, which is AskDoubleTap, anytime you want to reach out to us. Now, I know we normally focus on how tech can help blind and partially sighted people, but this time we're focusing on our ears. By my side, as always, is Steven Scott. I am Marc Aflalo. Steven, why are we covering this particular topic this week?
Well, it might shock you to know that 1 in 5 people between the ages of 20 and 79 in Canada have got some form of hearing loss, Mark. Many of us think that it's just part of getting old. The same thought is true of sight loss, but in fact, we can and we should protect our hearing, and there are lots of tools out there now that can help us with that.
And blind people can go deaf too, right?
Exactly. You don't just get given one disability when you enter the world and that's it. I'm sure that, even though I'm blind, if I'll still break my leg if I fall down a set of stairs like anyone else might. Many people will be aware of deafblindness, for example, where total sight and hearing loss exists. But there are other conditions like Usher syndrome where sight and hearing loss can be mild. So taking care of what we have and have left is very important. But I've got a question for you, Mark. When did you last take a hearing test?
Wow, it's got to be at least 7 to 10 years ago.
Well, maybe the app that we're focusing on this week might help you along a bit. It's called Mimi, spelled M-I-M-I, and it allows you to conduct a hearing test in your own time.
And let me guess, you're going to be testing out this app for us in a bit, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Although, by the sounds of it, I think you should too.
You know what, Stephen? I think this time I'll let you be the guinea pig because we also have a special guest joining us in a few minutes as well.
Yes, we've got our returning champion, Robin Christopherson, joining us from my neck of the woods here in the UK this week. Despite being totally blind himself, Robin recently started noticing a few issues with his hearing himself. So he decided to try out this app to find out what was going on. We're going to hear how that went in a moment.
Okay, stand by, Stephen. And Robin, you are on deck. In just a moment, we'll bring you up. Just a reminder, guys, if you want to get in touch, again, our email address, feedback@ami.ca. And on Twitter, don't forget to follow us. It's @DoubleTapCanada. And if you use the hashtag AskDoubleTap, we will get to your questions on the air. This is Double Tap TV with Steven Scott and Marc Aflalo. Up next, we venture into the world of hearing tests. Stick around.
Love Double Tap TV? Listen to AMI Audio for Double Tap Canada every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern for news and reviews on everything tech. This is Double Tap TV.
Welcome back to this week's edition of Double Tap TV, all about our hearing. If you want to get involved, feedback@ami.ca is our email address, and follow us on Twitter. It is @DoubleTapCanada. Use that hashtag, which is AskDoubleTap, and we'll get to your questions, I promise. Stephen, this week we're joined by another special guest.
Yep, as I mentioned before the break, Mark, Robin Christopherson is joining us on the show today. Now, Robin works for the UK charity AbilityNet and most recently joined us here on Double Tap TV to talk about the Amazon Echo devices that he loves. So much so, he has his own podcasts on the subject, Dot to Dot and The Echo Show. You can check out those wherever you get your podcasts. Robin, great to have you back here on Double Tap TV.
Hello, Stephen. How are you doing?
So you've been having some issues with your hearing, haven't you? And you decided to use a smartphone app to find out what was going on.
Yeah, so, as a blind person, my hearing is super precious to me. And I've been quite alarmed recently that I've had to ask people to repeat what they're saying. And my children tease me for not being able to hear really loud crickets, when, or whatever other noises there are that are just passing me by. So I'm a bit alarmed about that. So I was really pleased to hear about how you can improve your hearing on iOS devices at least. And there is an app called Mimi Hearing Test. If you just search for hearing test, you will find loads of them on the App Store. And I'm sure they all do similar things, but I know about this one and it's free and it's fully accessible. Mimi is spelled M-I-M-I. So if you search for hearing test, it'll be on the first page, or it was when I had a look. And the beauty of it is that you pop in your AirPods. You do need to have AirPods, whether it's the original AirPods, AirPods Pro, or the new AirPods Max, I'm sure are supported as well. And it then asks you to set your phone's volume to 50%. And then it goes through a 3 or 4 minute hearing test where it plays noises at different frequencies, and you have to say when you can't hear them any longer. So they bring them in nice and loud,
Right.
and the beeps gradually fade away until you think, no, I can't hear it anymore. And then you lift your finger off the button. And what you're creating there is a thing called an audiogram. And that audiogram has the information about which frequencies you can and can't hear well.
So it's identifying the frequencies you can't hear in order to create an audio image of your hearing capability. So what does the app do with that information once it's actually got it?
Yeah, so this is the clever bit, because that in itself is, a means to an end. And it's quite alarming when after you've done the test, it says, your hearing is worse than 95% of people your age.
Is that what it said to you?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it then tells you, but I was surprised that actually is still in mild. It's still defined as mild hearing loss. It does, though, recommend that I seek medical advice because I do have hearing loss.
Right.
So what I did with it, apart from, thinking, oh, yeah, okay, that's selling, tell me something I don't know. So that audiogram, it gives you, it offers to save that to the health app on your iPhone, which you just do with a tap. Then, this is the clever bit, you go into the settings app, go to accessibility, go down to the hearing section, and there's an item called audio stroke visual. And if you tap on that, in there are things to do with changing the audio output of your phone and also visual, like flashing the screen. If your hearing is really quite bad and you can't hear, the text tone or whatever, then you can flash the screen instead. If you go in there, there's an item called headphone accommodations. Tap on that, and then you can basically change the EQ of your hearing experience when you're using AirPods. And there are various ones for like enhancing vocals. There's one called brightness, which will enhance the upper frequencies, I guess. But there's one there called audiogram. I don't know if that one would be there before you've saved an audiogram because I've never been in there before. But there was one called audiogram. You tap on it, it will instantly see your latest audiogram. It will say the time and date when it was created. Tap on that, and suddenly my 50-year-old hearing transformed to, I don't know, a 15-year-old's hearing.
So you really noticed a difference. Now, what was a defining moment for you? Does it play something to you to demonstrate the difference?
Yeah, there's a sample piece of music. There's a button there for play sample. So that, has probably the full range. I can't remember what it is now, some sort of classical instrumental music anyway. But you can just play any media. So I was halfway through a podcast, so I would, play that with a 2-finger double tap. That's the magic tap for play pause if you've got voiceover running. And then once you've turned on your, new EQ by selecting audiogram, or you could try one of the other ones, vocal enhancement. If you want to try this first before creating an audiogram, then those other options are in there, and you can see what effect they have. At the bottom, there are 2 options for phone and media, and they're both toggled on by default. And what this is saying is during phone calls, do you want to have this new range EQ applied, and for media, do you want to have it on or off as well? So if you toggle the media one on and off while you're still listening to your podcast or your music or whatever it is you choose, then you can toggle that difference on and off. And for me anyway, because I guess my, hearing is pretty impaired. So particularly at the higher end, the difference was like night and day. It's muddy now without it. And you'd think, oh God, why would I ever want to have that switched off? So I keep it on, obviously.
Now, we should say this isn't a replacement for a professional grade hearing aid or a medical grade kit or anything like that, but it is a useful and an easy way to get the most out of your hearing.
No, I mean, it's obviously helping with what you're playing on your phone, whatever you're listening to. You could try that live listen feature. The only problem there is if you've got AirPods that aren't noise cancelling, so my normal AirPods, not the AirPods Pro, don't have noise cancellation. So I could hear the people talking in the same room.
And for those who don't know, that's where you can use your AirPods coupled with your phone's inbuilt microphone to better hear someone. Say you're in a busy restaurant, right, and you can't hear the person across the table. You can simply place the phone on the table with the microphone facing them. That's then picked up by your AirPods, which lets you hear their side of the conversation more clearly. And as you say, with noise-cancelling AirPods Pro or the AirPods Max, it's even better.
Definitely. And you could imagine using that in a meeting situation or in a conference or something where you could put that phone really much closer than you could get yourself. Maybe if it's on a big boardroom table, you could push it down the other end if there's a speaker or something, then you could have your AirPods in and really, hear them a lot more clearly. So yeah, that's live listen, as you say. But you really do need noise cancelling AirPods to not be able to hear the other person at the same time. So it works for that. And that's kind of like having a hearing aid.
Yeah.
But the hearing aids proper, particularly the ones that are made for iPhone, MFI, will do this as well. And this is where you would end up. If you went to your GP, said, I've got a hearing problem, ideally they would prescribe hearing aids that had this capability, MFI, part of the Made for iPhone program. And that EQ would be applied to them as well. And then the benefit that I hear when I'm listening to media on my phone would now apply to the whole world as well, which, and the phone wouldn't necessarily be involved there. That would be that processing happening in the hearing aids all the time because they are clever and being made for iPhone, they can apply that EQ that you've created on the phone.
The power of the devices in our pockets is incredible, isn't it? Robin, it's been so good having you on. I'm really glad the app could make such a profound difference to your hearing, and I hope that continues for you. Check out Robin's work via his Twitter feed at USA Today, the number 2 in there. Robin, thanks for coming on to Double Tap TV this week.
That is Robin Christopherson there from the UK charity AbilityNet. Still more to come, talking all about our hearing and our hearing health. He is Steven Scott. I am Marc Aflalo. We take a quick break and come back with more here on Double Tap TV.
For more great Double Tap TV content, visit ami.ca/doubletap. This is Double Tap TV.
Thank you guys so much for being here on this week's edition of Double Tap TV, talking all about hearing and hearing health, which is extremely important. Now, I am Marc Aflalo, and Steven Scott is by my side each and every single week. Steven, are you going to do a hearing test using this app that Robin was telling us about earlier?
Yep, that's exactly right, Mark. I'm going to take the test right here on the show this week to find out how good or bad my hearing is. Now, what I've done is, during the break, I've put in my AirPods Pro at both sides because the app requires that you can hear properly. I've loaded the app onto my iPhone here. So I'm going to run through it. So first up, it's going to ask me if I want to take the 6-minute test.
Take the 6-minute test button.
Yes, please.
Let's set I'm just curious about my hearing button.
Okay, so what I've noticed with this app right off the bat is the focus always jumps to the first button in the list. So I'm going to just do a 4-finger single tap at the top of the screen just to bring me back to the top of the screen, and I can read all the information that's up there.
Back button. Let's set you up. What's your motivation to take a hearing test? The test takes an in-depth look at your hearing health. Knowing your motivation helps us to personalize your experience.
Okay, so that's helpful to know. That's what this is all about.
I'm just curious about my hearing button. I suspect a problem with my hearing button. I am aware of my hearing loss button. My hearing suddenly got worse button.
Okay, so different situations here. For me, it's just about being curious.
I'm just curious about my hearing button. Let's set yes button.
Okay, again, a 4-finger tap at the top of the screen.
Bottom of screen. Back button. Let's set you up. Do you often ask people to repeat what they just said?
Aha. Now, how many people would do that all the time? Well, if the answer is yes, you would tap yes. For me, it's a no.
No. Button. Let's set continue. Button. Let's set you up. Find a quiet place. The hearing test will give the most accurate results if you do it in silence. That's what we call quiet.
Oh, it must be happy.
Continue. Dimmed. Button. Continue. Continue. Button. Let's set inner.
Okay, so let's now choose the headphones.
Let's set you up. Select headphones you want to use for the test. Only using the calibrated headphones, marked green, will give accurate results. If you're unsure which headphones you're using, select unknown. Select headphone, in-ear.
It's an in-ear for me.
Let's set Apple AirPods.
Yep, definitely.
Let's set volume, 48%, adjustable. Use your device's volume buttons to set the volume to 50%. Continue.
Well,
Button.
that's me sorted.
Test let's start. Button. Press the button while you can hear the beep, and release when you stop hearing something. You can hear the beep, and release when you stop. I can hear it. Button.
Okay, I can hear the beep. It wants me to turn off and stop when I can't hear it. It's gone. Now it wants
Press
me to
the
do the
button
same.
while you can hear the beep, and release when you stop hearing. I can hear it. Button.
I can hear it. And I now can't hear it. I guess it wants me to do the same
I can hear
again.
it. Button.
Oh, I can hear that. That's a very high pitched tone. And no, I can't.
I can hear it. Button.
I can hear it now.
So no, we're not going to make you sit through this entire process because it does go on for a good 6 to 8 minutes of hearing beeps getting louder and louder and quieter and quieter. I'm not going to put you through that. We will not do that here on Double Tap TV. But as you can see, the process is quite simple and it does rinse and repeat, meaning that you do it for one ear, then you do it for the other ear. So let's pick up with Steven as he finishes off the hearing test.
Okay, I'm done. Right, so how did I perform?
Finish. Button. Test done. Connect health. Button. Connect to health. When you connect Mimi Hearing Test to health, you will be asked to grant both read and write permissions. Reading. If you grant permission to read from health, Mimi will connect health. Button.
Okay, so I'm going to do the connect to health. I didn't read through all that there, but I'm going to do that because, like Robin said earlier, that then transfers all this information, this audiogram that's created, to my Apple Health, and it means that my AirPods and my AirPods Max can use that to better deliver audio to me, really customized audio, which is great. So let's do that.
Connect health. Connect health. Turn all categories on. Turn all categories off.
I'm very trustworthy.
Would you like us to remind you to track your hearing in the future? Yes. Button. Screen alert. Hearing allow. Button. Screen recording in progress. Button. Read more. Button. Your test shows that you might have mild hearing loss.
Wow. What? Okay. So I may indeed have mild hearing loss. I was not expecting to hear that, frankly. I mean, it's very interesting when you dig into this technology, the capability to tell you that. But I think it's important to say as well that this is an app. In some ways, it's quite rudimentary in terms of the test. So you definitely, if you feel that there's a problem or you're aware of a problem, you probably want to get that checked out. So, go to an audiologist, even speak to your doctor in the initial stages and get a proper test done. And if you're really noticing problems, if you're struggling to hear, then make sure you get a test. But that, at least alerts you to a potential problem that you can then do something about. I'm amazed.
Steven, I'm thinking that maybe I should be doing one of these tests too. It's been quite some time, but unfortunately, I can't do it right now because we're right out of time. Guys, thank you so much for being here again. If you want to get involved, email us. It's feedback@ami.ca. On Twitter, don't forget to follow us at DoubleTapCanada with that hashtag, which is AskDoubleTap. Steven, thank you as always for being by my side. On behalf of Robin Christopherson from AbilityNet and Stephen Scott, I am Marc Aflalo. We'll talk to you again on our next edition of Double Tap TV.
For more great Double Tap TV content, visit ami.ca/doubletap. Hosted by Marc Aflalo and Stephen Scott. Editing, Will Latar. Production assistants, Wendy Kaufman. Content review, Zachary Aflalo. Social media, Andy Wynn. Segment producer, Sean Priest. Voiceover, Anna Vicino. Integrated Described Video Specialist, Ron Rickford. Coordinating producer, Jennifer Johnson. Director, Production, Kara Nye. Director, Programming, Brian Perdue. VP Content Development and Programming, John Melville. President and CEO, David Arrington. Copyright 2021, Accessible Media, Inc.